So hey guys, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be discussing why couples channels on YouTube have failed. The reason why I want to do this video is because I think about all of the different phases YouTube has been through since I've been watching YouTube, as well as being a YouTuber, and I can't lie, couples channels had a prominent chokehold on YouTube for years. And yes, couples channels are still active to this day, but the hype of them and the validity of them has definitely died down. I think couples channels are damaged goods, and why I use that oxymoron is because I feel as though they had/have good intentions but are executed poorly. When they first started, just like anything else, people took a liking to them because they had an innocent fun, and I think people love love. I know I do. But things took a turn for the worse because this generation is full of nutty nakers, and the birth of the tumultuous offspring of teenagers and young adults completely running the idea into the ground and, in a sense, ruining it for everybody became a thing. So the most known couples channels, at least to a young black audience, would be DK4L, which is De'Ara and Ken, the Ace family, DMB Nation / the Prince family / Damien and Bianca. Their weird asses have like 5 different channel names. I don't know which one is which. CJ So Cool, I just know his name. I don't even know the name of the family channel. Chris and Queen, Carmen and Corey, which by the way, I've actually never watched a full video by them. Like I tried to, just couldn't do it. And you all are free to add whichever ones that I missed. These are just the ones that I remember seeing. I was just at the beginning of college when most couples channels came out, so I didn't jump on the hype as much and as fast as teenagers would, but all of these people have contributed to why couples channels have failed, and I wanted to discuss that in this video. Before we get started, if any of you are a black-owned business, I am the director of a modeling agency based out of Ohio called the Queen Team Models. We are offering very affordable and inexpensive promotion. I wanted to get my girls really experienced with working with businesses, and I want you new and upcoming businesses to also utilize my models. So if you want to get your business or your service or your products promoted through these beautiful ladies, please DM us or send us an email and we can see if we can assist you. So I've broken this video down into 3 main talking points, so let's get right into this video. So point number 1 is couples channels failed because they became fake and inauthentic. I think people realize that in no way, shape, or form could any of these couples channels be 100% accurate and authentic in every video. Especially once that said channel began to pick up traction, it literally became a do it for the views contest. We could literally see jump cuts, exaggerated reactions, cameras that were clearly invisible frames to the person being pranked or whatever, and it just became very fake. In a sense, you could tell that some of the people in these relationships were not happy, but were complacent and comfortable in the newfound fame, fortune, and followers that they were receiving. I'm not gonna lie, I actually really liked Chris and Queen when they first came out, and I thought that they were very genuine back when they were in that 1-bedroom apartment with the red couch. I think they blew up really fast because they were authentic at first. They were funny, they were entertaining, and they were creative with their video topics and content. But as we progressed through couples channels, people were literally going above and beyond, and everything just started to look like a theatrical performance, aka fake as hell. Especially with the pranks and challenges that were really outlandish. Some of this stuff became really crazy because a lot of the people that were big couples channels and might still be big couples channels today, they would do things that were not family friendly. For example, the period blood pranks, the sexually driven pranks, and downright scaring and embarrassing their partner. And I think to a very impressionable audience, I started to notice that if I was 5 years younger watching these things, at the time I was like 20 years old, I would literally think a lot of this stuff is okay when it really wasn't. But the weirdest thing about couples channels to me is that these were grown people putting on a show for children, but doing it through the lens of adults. And maybe they weren't the oldest adults, but they knew better than to create fabricated storylines and fake content for viewers and still proceeded to do so. It's like everybody got lost in the sauce. Everybody started off as pretty likable, telling the story about how they got together, doing cute pranks, and it just completely deteriorated into a pitfall of literal malarkey. I remember watching a prank on the Chris and Queen channel in which Chris and Queen said that they had a miscarriage. Not to discredit that, but it just seemed a little bit weird how they had this alleged miscarriage, and then within a few short weeks, everything was kind of back to normal in a sense. That's when I got really turned off. And I think what led to the demise of the couples channels interpersonally, like the people in the relationships, was the fact that they were doing these things that were so fake that some of these couples felt like they were living a lie, and eventually everybody has a breaking point and the relationship suffered. Not to excuse cheating, but a lot of the cheating allegations were probably because your partner now becomes your coworker worker. And as they say, do not mix business with pleasure. And a lot of these couples were doing that. In the end, they realized that they had to put on a fake persona to maintain the brand until they were burnt out by the fakeness. Now, point number 2 is exploitation. I think the biggest thing was the exploitation that occurred through these regular people who became prominent internet sensations in a short amount of time. They exploited everything about their lives to legitimately become famous. They put out their personal business, their hardships, their embarrassing story times. They showed their families. They showed their arguments. They literally exploited and exploded every part of their personal life, and it almost became like an example of what reality TV should be. Not the fake and conjured up nonsense that we see on Love and Hip Hop. Couples channels were really the real Love and Hip Hop. But think about the exploitation. Their families being a part of the media that is viewed by millions literally was a commonality. We knew the sister, the brother, the mom, the baby, everything about these people due to their exploitation, and it's kind of scary when you think about it. These were normal, everyday people with crazy amount of fans for nothing other than being in a relationship, and they were actively posting every nitty-gritty detail about themselves and kids, and young people soaked it up. And I think that exploitation, again, led to the demise of many people's relationships, because it becomes worrisome when strangers know everything about you. I think a lot of these couples channels didn't understand the extremities of what they were doing, and exploiting their children and everything for clout and clicks literally wore some of them out. Some channels even did pranks on their own children. Who remembers when CJ So Cool did a prank on his kids by putting laxative in their ice cream and then recording their reactions when they were in excruciating pain and having to go to the bathroom? It was so disgusting to watch because a grown person thought that was okay to post. Not only are the children minors, but they're your own kids. You should have a level of decorum, privacy, and boundaries for the sake of your children's future, and many of these couples channels did not. They literally used their kids and exploited them for views, and I find that to be very illegal. Like, of course you have free will to post your child on social media, but if you're reaping benefits, and in this case thousands of dollars, wouldn't that fall under some type of violation of child labor? I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too deep, but I found it very off-putting that many of these people were okay with their children being tattooed to the nonsense that they decided to post. Why would you want your child to be a part of that? I think the exploitation of the relationship, the extended family, the children, and just everything about these people went so far, and the viewers eventually retracted their support and interest because, yes, people are nosy, but when you put it all out there, people eventually get bored. Once somebody feels like they know everything about you, there's no more mystery, they don't care anymore, and they lose interest. And I think the exploitation allowed for people to see that not only were these couples channels doing too much, but a lot of their actions were very questionable, which brings me to my third point. So point number 3 is questionable behavior. Many of these channels participated in questionable behavior, and by questionable behavior, I mean putting out content that made them look unstable as individuals, as a brand, as well as some of their choices off camera and outside of YouTube. Now, I will say that DK4L kept their channel family-friendly, tasteful, entertaining, and although they are no longer together, I don't think they fall under the negative aspects of couples channels. They maintained a pretty reputable persona and perception their entire run, and I honestly think they outgrew one another and just decided to part ways. Do I think there's more to the story? Hell yes. But because they didn't really participate in the fake pranks, stupid challenges, inappropriate content, exploitation, and overall questionable behavior, they got to veer off with a pretty decent reputation, even though they were a part of probably the most nonsensical trend YouTube has ever had. As for everybody else, all of their behavior was questionable. I've only watched Damien and Bianca when they went viral for what they said about their first daughter being born and her eye color and wanting her to have pretty eyes. And I believe that behavior was questionable because that's when people started to realize a lot of these people were actually dumb as hell. Like, just being real. A lot of them were very ignorant. A lot of them were very arrogant. A lot of them were not role models or any type of exemplary representation of what young love should be. I mean, I just have to put this out here. But if you ask me, Damien is a statutory rape PPP loanist. Y'all get what I mean. He got with Bianca when she was very much underage, and there's a video on YouTube that pretty much breaks down everything about them from the day they met up until where they're at now. It's about an hour and some change, but I did watch a majority of it, and honestly, it sickens me that their level of questionable behavior still allows them to have a platform. It's been proven that they also scammed their fans, which is also very questionable. They created DMB University, which if your parents bought that for you or you spent your money on that, you're dumb. Okay, I'm just gonna call it what it is. And just the multitude of other things that they have trended for. Who remembers when Bianca decided to do a ghetto Uber driver prank and she sounded like a dying old lady who was choking on her dentures? It was just all very questionable. It made people really look at couples channels and those who are really excelling at being a couples channels as lacking intelligence and lacking emotional and personal maturity and just outright dumbass people. Like I said earlier, I've never watched a full video of Carmen and Corey. The first time they opened their mouth, that was it for me. I couldn't understand anything they were saying and I was completely completely turned off. I will never watch them, but I see them often on the T pages on Instagram, and it's like, how can a woman who has been shown multiple examples of her child's father cheating on her just not leave and eventually get the F on? Now you have to remember, well, her entire existence, at least as it relates to how she makes her money, is based off of her ties to this man. So when you make your brand about someone else or tie it to someone else, you become labeled and permanently attached to this person, and you're kind of branded as that. Carmen and Corey, Krusty and Krab, Cuckoo Bird and Contagious. Not to mention the multitude of cheating scandals that took place amongst almost all of these couples, DK4L included. It all became a watered-down YouTube version of a poorly executed reality show that we were once engaged in during its first season, but as the show progressed, everything became questionable, exploitative, and most of us were unimpressed after some time. All in all, couples channels to me were great for what they were when they were done correctly. Everybody loves to watch people be in love. I don't think couples channels are a bad idea, but I definitely think the idea of them as it relates to this generation was ruined. Like literally beat up, jumped, slaughtered, manhandled, and just left for roadkill because they did too much. What annoyed me the most is that YouTube literally gave these people a crazy boost of engagement and promotion to continue all of the negative, backwards, and baffling actions. And to this day, they still do. How is a channel still able to garner millions of subscribers knowing good and well they exploit minors, they post inappropriate content, most of these channels break the YouTube rules, but they're allowed to still influence their core fan base, which are children, and YouTube does nothing? I guess you can say YouTube has kind of let it slide because they know that the trend was a fad and came and went. Nobody's checking for a couples channel like that anymore. If you ask me, they ultimately failed. The ones that are still active might still have loyal followers, but they're definitely not pulling in the same amount of views and attention that they used to. The Prince family or Damien and Bianca or whatever, they have 8 million subscribers, but is averaging about 500,000 to 1 million views per video. And as much as I really don't like them and I don't know why people watch them, their views should be literally higher for 8 million subscribers. I think people have really tuned out, and the only thing keeping them alive is that because they've been around for so long and were so successful at one point, YouTube pushes them through the algorithm, but in reality, they really failed. The average person who was once interested does not care anymore, and I think rightfully so. Couples channels were a very brief gem of YouTube, but ultimately, it revolves around exploitation, questionable behavior, and many people just weren't here for them after a while. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. Don't forget, I am offering promotion through my modeling agency. You guys can send us an email or a DM on our Instagram if you're looking for affordable and inexpensive promotion of your business. Hey, invest in your business, especially during Black History Month. We would love to support you in any way, shape, or form. Don't forget to stream my new song, Ballin'. It is out on all platforms, so make sure you guys go run it up for me. And don't forget to also follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.
I'm a big show, smack down. Don't tell me zip, he can't handle a half pound. A big lips, nice hips, body looking hash brown. Ha, 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 ha. The best girls come from